Hi guys, Black Wolf here, and today I'm gonna read part 38. I'm so close, and this is gonna be a really short chapter. It's gonna be about as long as 37. I am really excited because we're getting really close to chapter 41, and I really want to read that one. It's like a really good chapter. Morgan and I remained there until the search ended and Veldergraff's company of men left. Connor himself came to claim us in the tunnels. He found Tobias and Roden first, and they walked downstairs through the tunnels to find us. Connor offered me a hand from where I sat on the floor, numb. I'd never killed before, not even accidentally, or for defense, or for whatever label they would attach to it tonight. My only intention had been to stop him from harming Imogen, and without alerting anyone else in the house up to my presence. That at least had been accomplished, but it had come at a heavy price. And as hard as I tried to avoid the comparison in the moment, I had seen myself as Kragan, sending a deadly arrow into Latimer's chest, all to protect Connor's unholy plan. Every feeling within me was pain, so I hollowed it out and barely acknowledged Connor's greeting when he saw me. I took his hand, but he did more work in pulling me up than I did with any effort to lift myself. I could tell from there that the imitation of Prince Jaren's sword was gone. Mott must have taken it with him when he went to get it bandaged. Connor led us into the room where I sat on my bed. Roden sat next to me. Tobias took a stool for himself, and Imogen stood, keeping herself apart from the rest of us. Mott was already in the room when we entered. His arm was bandaged and his face was grim. It was obvious there where the floor had been scrubbed of blood. Connor addressed Imogen first. May I assume that you were in the tunnels because you were somehow involved in the death of the man? Imogen nodded slowly. It was my fault, I said. I thought I struck him low enough to avoid any major damage. It was for a good reason, Mott said. We all know what would have happened if you hadn't acted, not only to Imogen, but to you boys as well. I knew, yet even that was not enough to make me feel better. But why were you out of the tunnels in the first place? Connor asked. You so easily might have been found. Imogen drew in a breath and opened her mouth. She would speak to take the blame, but reveal the one secret she had protected ever since she coming to Farlandwood. Cutting her off, I withdrew to my papers. These were left in his room, and if found, would have been damaging evidence about us. Mott took the papers and handed them to Connor. He opened them, read a little, then said, You wrote these, Tobias? Yes, sir. His voice trembled when he spoke, and I wondered what was in them. You are a thorough record-keeper, more fit to be king's scribe than a king, I think. Tobias lowered his eyes. Yes, sir. And then Connor turned to me, his expression different from before. Was it respect? Gratitude? It's so rarely been looked at in any favorable way, I couldn't recognize it. He said, If these papers had been found, none of us would be here tonight. Veldergraff's men were exceptionally thorough, but Mott was able to cover up your presence through his own brave act. Veldergraff left here embarrassed and disgusted when his most tedious search turned up no evidence of either you or that emerald box. But he was right, I mumbled. You are planning a false ascension to the throne, and you did steal the box from King Egbert. Neither of which I make apologies for. Connor's expression cooled. Do you want the throne, Sage? Do you want me to choose you? It wasn't in me to care how I answered. I accepted the throne if the alternative is for Veldergraff to take it. My voice sounded as tired as I felt. That's not the same thing. Tell me that you will be good and noble king, that you want to claim the hand of the betrothed princess, and that you are glad I've done this for you. Lie if you must, but tell me you want it. I stared back at him with a blank expression. Aren't you tired of lies? I am. Connor sighed heavily. I would choose you, Sage, but for that there is one thing that you must never tire of. Not for the rest of your life, and that is the lie. The person I choose must have the lie so settled in his heart that he truly believes he is king, that he ceases to think of his own name and answers only to Jaren's. He must become so convinced of his lies that were his own mother to appear at his side and call to him without shedding a single tear, he would tell her he is sorry she'd lost her son, that he is the child of Egbert and Erin. The person I choose must recall memories of a royal upbringing that never happened, and he must do all these things every day for the rest of his life, never once regretting the lie that brought him here. I barely heard him and only stared at the scrubbed area on the floor. Imogen caught my eye and offered a grateful and sympathetic smile. At least she was safe. Connor turned to Roden. Can you tell the lie, Roden, for the rest of your life? He sat up straighter. I can, sir. Connor motioned to Imogen. Bring the boys a supper here, in their room. Each of you get a good night's sleep, because morning will come early. Roden, you are my prince. You and I depart for Gilead after breakfast. Well, then, that was like, wow, that was a different first chapter. I mean, it was a good chapter, but wow. I think my favorite chapter is the end, or the last couple of chapters. I think it'd be from 40 to the end. Those are my favorite chapters. It's 40 to the end. Okay, guys. So it's gonna be the same as usual, and I'm just gonna say, because I don't want to say the same thing over and over and over again. So, books, games, audiobook, movie kind of thing. Comment challenges, comment things, comment songs. No curse words. Subscribe. See you later. Oh yeah, and the next one's also called The False Prince audiobook part 39. It's a good book, trust me. See you later.